All right. Well, I hope you're having a good day. So, here's the situation for today. We're calving heifers right now. We calve them out in a corral, and then since it's been really nice weather out, pretty much as soon as they can get up and walk, and they're all cleaned off and nursed a little, we give them a couple hours, and we turn them out in a pasture out this way. And from our living room window, we can look out and see a big chunk of that pasture, and we've been able to see the ones that have calved out. Everything's been hunky-dory. Well, they get to moving around and grazing more, and gets to where we can't see them anymore. And usually I don't worry too much about them, but heifers, their first calf, they're kind of dumb and maybe don't do things quite right, can lose track of their calf. So my wife went out this morning and checked, and we've only turned 9 out so far, and she found all the cows, but she only found 7 calves. And generally that wouldn't bother me too much, because they're pretty good at laying their calf down somewhere and hiding it, and she knows where it's at. But the cows are kind of acting nervous. They're looking off over into another pasture, and they kind of wander around acting like they don't know where their calf is. And I usually wouldn't worry too much about it, but we've had people that have been driving in here in the middle of the night, and they have their headlights off, and they sit within the side of the house and can see into this pasture where these calves are at. So that's got me kind of nervous. So I'm going to ride out there and see if I can find these 2 calves. It's kind of a big pasture, and there's sagebrush out there and lots of little dips and holes and stuff that they can hide in. So I'm not real thrilled with the prospect of actually being able to find them, but maybe I'll see some tire tracks out there where I can tell people have drove around or something. And yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'm going to go catch Bud and saddle him up, and then we'll head out there. Well, I thought Bud was dead and the chickens were eating him, but I guess he's taking a nap. Get up. So there's this fence line that runs right along here, and the ones that have already calved, that's them right there. And the reason I'm kind of worried about this is there's no water back here. It's kind of about as far away as they can get from water. So I don't know what they'd be hanging out back here for. So I'm worried that maybe coyotes got in here and maybe ran some calves through this fence. And that's why that one cow's hanging out right along the fence. So if they ran through this fence, then they're, out there somewhere. And hopefully a coyote didn't get them. There's some pretty tiny calves. So what I'm hoping is they're just laying down in the sagebrush up here, or in the spot where the trail's deep like this is where I've been looking to. So we'll see what we can see. And I brought all the dogs with, the 2 new pups. This is their first outing with me like this, so we'll see how they do. Not that I need to move anything, but we'll see if they listen good. Well, found the missing calf just laying in some deep sagebrush, but we set up a new water tank for these gals over the hill there, and they don't know that it's there, so I'm going to push them there so they can get a drink of water, and then they'll show the rest of them where the water's out as we kick them out. So these are pretty little calves, so this might take a while, but as long as I can get a couple of them to water, good enough. It wouldn't mess my mustache up. So we got them back here by the house where my wife set this tank, and it's full of water, so they're getting a good drink. This will be pretty handy because it's right here out our front yard basically, so we'll kind of be able to keep a better eye on these pairs. So now I got to go back over there to the corrals and see if anything's calving. So while we were out there taking care of those pairs, one of these ones in here, she started having a calf. She had it on her own, and I've given it a couple hours to get cleaned off and nurse some. So now I'm going to go take care of it and show you what we do. Here we go. So here she is right here. She was in with this red one just because that's kind of how it worked out. The rest are over in this other pen, and I'll explain why here in a minute, why we split them off like that. But I'm going to get down here where I'm out of the wind. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick this red one out. There's a gate back this way. I'm going to kick her out, and then I'll come back and take care of these 2. Got her out of the way, so now we'll go back and take care of that calf. And one of the reasons, even though this isn't a great big huge pen, and that's not even a whole lot of heifers to calve, the reason I do this on a horse sometimes is these heifers, once they have their calf, they can get a big hormone dump, and they can get kind of feisty on you every once in a while. So it just makes you feel more safe. I can go up here and split this cow off from this calf, or I can rope the calf if I need to tag it. But you can see she has a white tag, so I have a white tag to put in this calf. I got to get closer to get her number, so. I think it's 454. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to write 454 on this white tag from the back of my horse. So we'll see how that goes. I'm usually not very good at it. So here we go. That wasn't too bad. So now I'm going to put this in my tagger. Then I'm going to go and I might put a loop on that calf or rope it just so I can pull it closer to me and my horse in case she does get kind of snuffy or goofy, or get him over there close to the fence and see if I can just step off and grab a back leg on him. Here we go. So I did end up roping a back leg on it, and here comes the mom. I'm going to try to, maybe my horse will try to help me out a little here, because this is taking a little longer since I'm filming it, but I'm going to check and see. Got a bull or a heifer here. It's a little heifer, so that means I'm going to tag her in the left ear, so I'm going to do that real quick. And now she's back with her mom. Now these are the only calves that we tag her out of these cows. We're having their first calf, and that's because, you know, this is their first calf. They might lose track of it. Something could happen, and when they're out there in the pasture, if I find a dead calf, I know which cow it belongs to, or if I find a dead cow, I can go find its calf. Or if a cow, if I can tell she hasn't been nursed in a couple days and she gets a really tight bag, I can go find her calf, things like that. And so obviously she had a white tag and was 454, so I put a white tag in its ear, 454. Bulls go in the right ear, heifers go in the left ear. This is the type of tagger I was using. Not particularly fond of any of these. It's kind of big and awkward. I wish they made like a real small one you could use, but I guess you got to have this much handle for the leverage. But it's about time to put a hay bale in. I do feed these girls at night, so then hopefully they don't calve during the night. And I will let these two stay in here for the night, and then in the morning I'll kick them out that gate and they can go down. And they go down the end of this lane and take a right, and they'll be at the water tank with the rest that have calved. So once I have all that done, I put it all in this log book. I write down the date, the cow's tag number, the sex of the calf. I put S for steers because they're going to be a steer. I put down the, whether they were born naturally is what I call it, or if I had to pull them. And I keep track of that because we have some pretty good heifer bulls this year. So if there's something I had to pull, like this one here, it was a pretty big calf. That might mean that was the mother's genetics that made such a big calf, and maybe she's one to get rid of because I don't want those genetics in the herd. And then this is a part for comments. If it's something I can write on this little space here, then I do that. If not, I put a check mark there, and then I've got a page here, a couple pages back for comments, if something else happened. That comment there says no tag brockle face, because I didn't put a tag in that calf's ear, but it's belongs to a brockle face cow, and the calf is red with a brockle face, so it's easy to pick out. So yep. So I got up here to the house and was watching these videos to put them together, and I realized I didn't explain why we split them off when they start going into labor. So the reason we do that is if one starts going into labor, and then maybe 30 minutes later another one also starts, and then that first one will lay down and have her calf just fine, and then that second one will come over if they're not split up, and she'll sniff that calf and think that that's her calf, and she'll quit pushing and trying to have her calf, and she grandmas onto it is what we call it. So just to make things a lot easier, once one, we can tell she's going into labor, we split her off into a different pen, and there's times when we could have 6 different pens full of heifers all having calves at the same time. When they do grandma on like that, it's a pain in the ass. It usually involves tying the calf up, putting it into a sled, dragging it into the corrals, and then trying to sort the cows off. Then the two that are both claiming the calf, the one that actually owns it and the one that thinks it's his or hers. So that's why we split them off. So there we go. So that's pretty much what's going on around here. I've never calved heifers out this late in the spring before, and it's really nice. It's way better than dealing with muddy corrals and snow and calves chilling down and things like this. I really enjoy calving out heifers, but it's really nice when it's nice weather like this, so I think we're going to keep doing it. And it's really nice that as soon as I kick them out, they're out on green grass, and that helps make milk and grow calves. So thanks for watching.